I'm gonna first start off by saying something really, it's gonna come off as a bit snobbish, but I'm gonna be honest. Dota is a hard game. In fact, it's probably one of the hardest games out there. And I'm not just saying that just because, it's a game I play here and there. Like, it's hard. It's challenging. It's so complex because it's Dota. There's games like there out there like League of Legends, and I play League of Legends, and League of Legends is just it's just so much simpler compared to Dota because Dota has all of these things you have to know and all of these random intricate elements to it that if you just don't know what they are, let alone if if you happen to play the game itself, you're lost. And that's just how the game works. You just have to know it, or if you don't know it, you have to figure it out. And even with all of the information out there, like there's a myriad of information out there. Even if you just read it to put it into practice and to find practical applications of said mechanics and very obscure, and I have to emphasize the word obscure, because that's what they are. They're just obscure. Like, how am I supposed to explain to you, for instance, like, how does creep stacking work? How do you stack the camps? I should say. It's just something like, well, you see this camp of neutral creeps here. You just have to hit them and then make them chase you, and then they're outside of this area, and then if at a certain time interval, and then more will spawn, and that's how you make the camps bigger. I'm like, that's really, for anyone who doesn't know, that's just really, really out there. That's just really obscure, and it's just how the game works. It's just one of those things. Well, the mechanic exists, and you go throughout, just in Dota, you go throughout all these other ideas and concepts. It's like, that is part of the game. Yeah, it's just part of the game. It's just, it's a very, I hate to say this because it's almost convoluted, because that's just how it is. The game just has all kinds of mechanics that are all thrown into the pot, and either you just try to learn to devour it and try to acquire a taste for it, or you don't. And for some people, they can spend literally years and they just don't get it. They just won't acquire that taste. And take it from someone who's played Dota for a really long time. We're talking back to the original Dota, back on the Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne thing. It was the game that people bought the Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne set thing, just to play Dota. That's the game they pirated on Garena and everything like that, just to play Dota. And that was back when MOBA was becoming a thing, before League of Legends and all that. And then now, I say this now, fast forward to this day where when I actually am playing Dota, granted it's on a casual level, but I play it and it's like, man, even after all these years, it's literally been more than 8 years now. I sound old as hell to say that, but I'm still learning stuff. And I can say that with complete honesty, not to downplay myself or anything like that. That's just, it goes to show how nuanced the game is. There's just so much stuff to learn, and you will constantly learn different things about the game the more you get into it. And I just wonder if there's ever going to be a point where it just stops. And in a way, as a player, I guess it excites me that, wow, I literally can hop into a game of Dota 8+ years afterward and still find something I didn't know. And man, and that's the thing, and that I appreciate Dota for that, just because the possibilities for all these exciting and crazy mechanics and ideas, being all thrown into a pot, the same pot, again, it's that same pot. You stir it up, and that's Dota, right? And people are still finding new flavors and new strategies and new things, the more they eat it. And it's like, it never gets old. It just gets more complicated. It gets more, it just gets more and more into it. And I guess at the end of the day, I have to accept it. And that's Dota for you. That's just Dota. Dota is just one of those things that will never stay, it doesn't try to follow any rules. It makes its own rules. It breaks all the rules, and it just keeps breaking those rules. And it's like, well, I'm Dota. Either accept me or you don't accept me. And yep, and I have to say it. It's a crazy thing once you try to wrap your mind around it. It's a crazy thing.